So there's a ethnicity that I really am inspired by, and my question to you is, let's take the Jewish or the Italian ethnicity, right? And even more so, let's talk about the mob.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was originated by 5 families, right?
Yeah.
Now, the corruption that is the face mask of that, it wasn't built off of corruption. It was built off of them believing in something.
Right.
And it was segued and assigned to certain boroughs. Hey, listen, Keys, you got over here. Bug, you got over there.
Yeah.
Boom, hey, so-and-so, you got over there. And that's your section. You control your section.
Yeah.
If we have any section, and at least we know we got a finger to point to that person, we're holding you accountable for those certain things. Now, with that being said, do you think as a whole, as a culture, we're able to come together and control our means?
So with the mafia, our issue in our relationship, right? Because we name ourselves Capone, we name ourselves Scarface, all these different things. We adapted all the negative things about the mafia, none of the positive things. None of the power things, I should say.
Right.
So with the family, right? We talked about this before on my high-level conversations about, surrounding yourself around the LeBron in your family, or the Cam Newton in your family, or the 19 Keys in your family, and building off that. But more importantly is that when you want anybody to hold up any code, they have to be backed by something. So what they do is like, there's certain people that should be made people within a culture because they backed by the culture. So that family dynamic of saying that, yo, you can't touch Cam Newton, you understand me? You know who's behind him, who backs him. Because if you touch Cam Newton, now you got to go against his family. Well, let's say you can take out this family, but now you got to deal with the other 5 families.
Correct.
These 5 families have money, power, influence, right? Nobody is afraid of black people because we don't back each other. When something happens, we left alone, right? The most dangerous thing what happened with the Black Panthers is when Huey P. Newton was left out there, and seemingly end up, abusing drugs or anything. That's FBI.
Right.
But when the people stood there on the front lines and he utilized his education and he was brave enough to teach people how to, guard their community and create these programs, it was the people's job to stand up for them. It was the people's job to make sure that they straight, that they not broke on the street. It was the people's job to make sure that those who stand on the front lines, you understand me, have backup.
Right.
So what we have is this disconnection between those who are the activists, the leaders, those who stand in front, and then nobody's behind them.
Right.
Right? So that family unit and dynamic is so powerful because a family is a microcosm of a nation.
Right.
Right? If a man can lead his family, he can lead a nation. It's a reason you don't see, there's no presidents that are single, right? Because he has to have proof of leadership, proof of stability, right? And so we have no leadership and no stability because the men, a lot of the men, and this is not true for all around the world, or throughout America, but a lot of men have left their households and left that responsibility and they feel like it's too much, right? And so the repairment of the black family is the repairment of us as a people, because the first thing they stole from us was our ability to get along with our own women. You understand me? So when she says that she's the most disrespected woman out there, what she's saying is that you don't have respect.
Wow.
So therefore, they don't respect me. You understand me? Right. If they targeting violence against her, that means that you not protected, so you can't protect her. So it's not so much that she's complaining about the world, she's talking about you and you not being on your responsibility.
Right.
So with that dynamic, if black men and women, specifically that particular relationship, if it is not repaired and we don't learn how to create households, then there's nothing that we can do against the families that rule the world, right? So the mafia had great family dynamics. Listen, bro, we got this organization. I need you to become a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
You become an engineer. I need you to learn blockchain. I need you to learn finance. So now everybody has a role that they can play for the family structure.
They have a main artery to make the body work.
Exactly.
And to that point, I judge a man off 2 principles. Fuck what he say. You show me a woman,
Yeah.
and you show me your kids.
Yeah.
That's how I judge you.
Yeah.
You can say, man, I'm the realest nigga in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. But your girl ain't portraying that.
Yeah.
Your kid's disrespectful. No, sir, no, ma'am. Yes, sir, yes, ma'am. They not that.
That's a fact.
Right? And I'm in a situation now with my life where I'm at a crossroad where do I leave my family and to go chase the career that will give them the financial means, or this is an intricate part of their lives that they need me the most. You know what I mean? And I'm torn between the two, but yet I'm a person who comes from family. You know what I'm saying? I come from a strong alpha male dominated household that I knew right from wrong. You know what I mean? I knew how to handle myself in a room full of hyenas. I knew how to handle myself in a room full of lions.
Yeah.
And I never tucked my tail. I never cowered. It's always gonna be what it's gonna be, bro.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna bitch. I ain't gonna complain. I ain't gonna point the finger. I'm gonna point the thumb before I point the finger.
Yeah.
You feel me? So where we at right now, it's like, okay, even the guests that I have on that are minority females, beautiful queens, they gotta stop celebrating sucker shit.
That's a fact.
You feel me? Like, bruh, stop giving yourself to a sucker. Cause if a sucker is still celebrated, then you celebrating sucker shit.
Yeah, then that makes men want to become suckers so that they can be celebrated.
Come on,
but
man.
I want to say something that you said, because I think language is important. I don't think the choice is leaving the family for the career. I think that it's a duality that can happen where both things can happen simultaneously, right? Because you're leading the family while building, right, for home, right? And I think that it just establishes a different strategy that you go out and the understanding that they have. Because if the language is, yo, I gotta lead y'all while I do this, no. I'm going to lead y'all while I do this, meaning that there's going to be a time gap. Maybe there may be less time that I can be here, but what I'm doing is I'm building for the foundation that's here.
Right.
So now they see the sacrifice in different ways because they understand that this is just a stage that we're going through while Pops is leading us. You dig? But I only say that because the world makes us feel like we have to leave family, right? But the whole time, you are the head and you are always leading your family. It just depends on how are you leading them.
Right.
How are you leading them in times of absence is based on what you give them in times of your presence. You understand me? And I don't think that there should ever be a choice where a black man makes to leave his family, even if it's in like a hypothetical sense.
Right.
But more so just the way that the family feel about that. Because there was times where my pops wasn't there, right? And if he would have had better communication on what was going on with him during that time, I would have seen that absence and that gap differently. You understand me? But my issue is I couldn't communicate with him during the times of his absence.
Right.
And he didn't let me know why. But during when he was there, I just had to see him as a man. Like, oh, well, you a human being. This is what allowed me to see my parents in a different light. I didn't look at him as pops, I looked at him as a man. Right? That you didn't have your father, there were certain things that was missing. There's dynamics between this relationship. I look at my mother and I look at my father as people, and now I don't judge you anymore. You understand me? And now I can measure your deeds and I can see why you make those decisions because of necessity. So a man definitely has to go out there and hunt to make sure that his family is provided for, but we also have this great ability to where, you know, if a man went to war back in the day, he had to write his family. And then every so often, you know what I mean, the carrier comes to deliver those letters. Now, shit, we can FaceTime. Now we can get on the Zoom and say, well, let's have a family dinner. You understand me? Like, we have options to make sure we maintain connection. And that connection is important because those are the means that allows us to make sure that family is able to be maintained. But capitalism doesn't teach you that these two go hand in hand.
Yes, sir.
While every last name, whether it's Colgate to Hennessy, whether it's Chase Bank, JP Morgan and them, these are family last names that they have directly integrated to make sure that they can control industries and time for the next 100 years. So we have to make sure that even our children and our family understand what we're doing so they can carry on our legacy. You dig? But I just wanted to say that just because I understand that dynamic.
Like
very
my thing, I have 7 children.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It's tough. You know what I mean? To
get some money.
To trap, you know what I mean? You can't be no broke dude with that many kids.
Yeah.
To
How many baby mothers?
2.
2, okay.
Right? And it's not like you can have that many children and provide. You can.
And you plan on having more?
I want to have more. I need to have more.
How many more?
I want 5 more.
We gonna have a tribe of 12.
You know what I mean?
12 tribes.
I'll settle for 4. I'll do 11.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me know I want 11 children. I've been saying that since I was 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always stood on a principle. And it doesn't necessarily all have to be off of, my sperm.
Yeah.
I can adopt.
Why are you willing to adopt?
You know what I'm saying? In essence, I've done it now. You feel me? Because I have 5 biological children.
Yeah.
2 children came from each one of my baby moms.
Yeah.
And you can't tell them that I'm not theirs and vice versa.
Right.
I feel like God put them in my life as the surrogate father, even when they do have a biological father. I'm not stepping on the biological father's toes. Right. I'm just trying to show up in their life in a way that if they say, I know what a man's like because Cam was that for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And one of them is a boy, one of them is a girl. So, I have 2 different dynamics.
You're trying to beat Nick Cannon.
Yeah, I don't think it's a competition, but you know what I mean? It's
neck and neck. I don't know.
Listen, it's peace, it's happiness. Because when I go home, once you've acquired a large sum of money, when no is no longer in people's vocabulary to say, it's like, hey, I want this. No, you can't have it.
Right.
What's the price point? When you can pay that ticket to say, okay, I want to fly a private jet. Okay, I want to do this. I want to acquire this yacht. I want to buy this car. I want to buy this mansion. What else is there that gives you happiness? And every single time I pick my children up, which I'm going to pick them up today, that there's no feeling than when you stick your head into a classroom and you hear, Daddy! Or when you open up the door and then you hear 14 footsteps, Daddy, and then there's nothing, no money, no nothing that can give you that type of thrill.
I feel that. That's for